Alternative Spring Break put together a little group of 26 students. 2 of them were graduate. We had a bunch of international students this year, and we all went down to the Everglades in Florida. And there, what we decided to do was we worked with the Everglades National Park, and we took out invasive species. We kind of helped them trim up some camping grounds, and we're helping preserve the national park for future generations.
It is day 1 here on the ASB Everglades trip. We are in the Chiquita National Park down in the Everglades.
The issue that they're having is they kind of introduced these plants that weren't native to the lands, trying to give it a little bit more biodiversity, but the plants kind of took over in a way that isn't healthy for the environment. So we've dealt mostly with plants, and we went through and there were pepper trees that we had to cut down. There were some, I think, banana plants we had to get rid of.
I've never done anything like that before, so it was a great experience being able to do that.
A lot of it was we got to help the volunteers that are there for extended periods of time to make their life a little bit easier so they could do, bigger work.
I've done volunteer projects in the past, and I really enjoyed making an impact in people's lives and helping out. So I really wanted to do this because of that, and we're going to Florida, and that's not a bad spring break either.
This year the trip was kind of decided for us. It's been a goal of ours to do this since my freshman year. When I started in the organization, we were supposed to go to Florida, and it just couldn't happen due to funds, so we fundraised really hard this year, and we finally made it happen.
I decided to come because it was more science focused and it's kind of relevant to my future, I guess. I'm a chemistry major, so learning about all this plant stuff and animals it's interesting.
This is the place to go because sustainability and conservation has kind of become a bigger issue in our generation, and it isn't seen as much here, so it's nice to go somewhere else. And in Florida, this is a really big deal. It's a big deal to conserve the Everglades and keep that little bit of history and nature that's just natural in that environment.
I think it's important because the environment is really what keeps us together as a society. We need to protect it and stuff like that just to ensure the future.
I chose to go on ASB because there's a lot of great people going, and I love to volunteer, and I'm part of L4L's wing. I'm their RA, so I saw a lot of my residents going, so I thought I should go too, and so far it's been a really great experience.
During our trip, we decided to stay at a hostel. Some of us stayed in tents outside, and we did a little camping. Angela, in fact, stayed in a tree, and she slept in the tree house because it was kind of like a free-for-all. You could just go wherever you want.
I made a lot of lasting bonds with the kids that were involved, and you learn a lot about yourself in the process, and I don't know, I think growth is pretty important.
I think that this is more important because for me, I would just be going home and not doing anything, and this is giving me a chance to go and experience something that maybe I wouldn't normally get the chance to do. And I'm also helping people out in the process. I'm helping preserve the Everglades National Park for future generations to enjoy.
It makes me feel good about myself, and I'm sure that's the same thing as for the ASB members as well. It's always a great thing to help out, especially anywhere you go. It's always to be able to volunteer, do some good for your country.
I definitely recommend ASB for future residents. I think it's a great way to get out and to see different parts of the United States that you wouldn't normally get to see at a college, student price. So it's a really great experience.
It was a great time. Obviously, to me, my best spring break ever.
You definitely should do it because it's an amazing experience, and I'm kind of sad this is my last trip because I'm graduating, but it's so surreal. It really is. It's a great experience, and you learn a lot about yourself, and I don't know, it's good to give.
Talking to random strangers and them saying, thank you so much for coming down here, that is a big issue. It just gives you a sense of pride for what you're doing.